What's up, y'all? My name is Chris Porter. Super excited to have y'all here for today's daily Illustrator challenge. Let me know where y'all are all watching from in the chat. Today we're going to be doing some product packaging design. I am super excited about this one. I love packaging design. It's one of my favorite things about being a designer. And, you've got branding and everything, but packaging is really fun. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a coffee brand today. We're going to be working in Adobe Illustrator and then showing you how to export out all that stuff. Let's check out the chat and see who all is in here. We've got Kevin, we've got Franco, we've got Robert. What's up, y'all? Good to see you. Allison from Phoenix. I am in Memphis. I am creative director over at Baby Grand. We are an all kind of encompassing design studio. And so we do everything under the sun creatively. And we've got about 20-ish minutes here. So let's just hop right in. Anytime you got questions about what's going on, drop them in the chat. I'll be looking over to my right and checking that out. So let's go ahead and hop right into this. And so you should have access to this file. This file is in the links. Val, if you can throw a link in there if we need, but I think it should be in description. But we've got some illustrations here. We grabbed these from Adobe stock. We would typically want to do these all hand illustrated, but for the sake of time, we're just going to show you the cool assets you can find in Adobe stock. So we've got these really cool sort of ingredients. We've got this bag mock-up, and so this is for like a small business coffee roaster, and we're going to create a label to go right on this. We're going to create two different options, really simple. So again, we're going to design a layout of the label. We're going to test it on the mock-up by putting it on here. We've actually got our PDF already sized at a 5 by 7 inches, so you can easily see what that is, and we'll show you how to export out and prepare it for print. All right, so let's dive in. The first thing that we're going to do here is we're just going to get a name for this. Now, you can name this whatever you want, but for some reason, today I just was thinking about what to call this, and I just thought about Daze Coffee Co. So I like, just DAZE, and we're going to say Coffee Co. So Daze Coffee Company. I think that I prefer like shorter names for brands a lot of times because you can just kind of remember like, oh, have you tried Daze? And so I think that's pretty neat. And let's kind of move these off to the side. And so we want to create a palette of different colors that we want for our labels because we've got these different ingredients over here. We've got some pineapple, maybe like some agave. I'm not too sure. We got leaf, it's just some straight up leaf stuff, like some berries. So I think, we want to have blue for sure. Probably like yellow or something there for the pineapple, and then like a green. We can figure out which one of these leaves. This might be an accent illustration. So we'll create a few different just color blocks over there on the side, and those will be sort of our main thing that we use to create all of this. And I'm just holding Alt and clicking to drag that out. Now we've got a lot of fonts at our disposal in Adobe, right? You can come here, you can hit find more, and you can instantly add a bunch of fonts. I'm going to just choose some that I personally really like. I'm a big fan of Santa Ana, which is from Chutzpah Design Co. And they have some fantastic fonts. So we're going to just stick with Santa Ana for this brand here, and probably want to make that a little bit of thicker, right? And so one of the things that I love about them is they have all the different variances, right? So I really like the way that this comes together. Now I'm going to hit Option or Alt and use my arrow keys to drag out that spacing. And I kind of want these to sort of blend together. Like I want to create this because it's going to create a cool little shape here. And I really like this shape. It kind of reminds me of a boat, like if it's a boat on sea. And so, but it's got a little of a hanging cliff there, right? It's got a little hanging cliff. So I'm just going to outline this basically, create outlines. And now I can work in these in shapes. And so instead of having it to just be text, I can just come in here, maybe grab this and bring it up a little bit. All right. And I want it to really hit these marks. Like I want this to hit here. So I'm actually going to just put that there I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to come over to my curvature tool and hopefully curve that out nice, just right. Now, again, I use my pen curvature tool. I hit a point in the middle because you can't do a curve and then, for instance, let's go backwards. So I use undo, go back to the curvature tool. If I just do this, it messes everything up. So instead, I come in and I've already got a point there, right, with my curvature tool. If it wants to select it now. All right. And I can just really do it easily. And see, I kind of messed myself up there because I went backwards, but I still kind of like that shape. And if you mess up, you can always come in and round that corner, right? And so very, very easy to get that situated just fine. Okay, so bring that in a little bit. Now we've got a nice little flowy mark, and I like that these are all aligned. It's got a good vibe to it. Okay, so I want this to be pretty large, and this, remember, is the full shape of our, whole label. Let's see what everyone else has got for not perfect. Percolation Potions Coffee Brewer LLC. Whoa, that is a name. Clever, very clever name, if I'd had to say so myself. And I apologize for that terrible, terrible pun. Okay, so we've got this Days Coffee Co. Let's give it a little bit thicker, probably semi-bold, and let's track this out a bit. All right, not too much. Okay, so we'll do something like this. Maybe we'll even have a line that comes here. I kind of actually might want to just say company, instead of that, because that really fits right there in a whole block. And I really like that fits in a whole structure. It'd be really good for social media and stuff instead of Coffee Co. So normally you can work straight up in the fonts, and don't have to change anything, but I really want to make this ready for print. So because we're doing that, you need to outline it so that way, in case anyone opens up this file, you don't have any sort of complications. Now, again, you can use these fonts forever you need as shapes, but the moment you start using them as font and you give them to your client, you need to actually license the font, not just using the font for a shape in Adobe. So I'm really liking this logo for Days Coffee Company. Okay, so let's put a color here, and I've added bleed to this because you want to always have bleed for your label. And we're going to send this to the back using our commands, and I know you can't really see it, so let's get it sent to the back here. And that is important to have this amount of bleed here, just so that way when you're going edge to edge, you don't have any shifting that messes up anything, because nothing is ever going to print just perfectly. When you print, you're going to have things shift left, right, up, and down just slightly. And so because you have that bleed, you want to have enough on the outside and also have a little bit of a safe area. So usually a safe area is about 1/4 of an inch at most. Probably you can do a little bit different. So if you want to do a safe area, what you can do is just kind of get it here so you have enough room for any shifting and it's not going to mess you up. But we're not going to worry about that too much for this. Okay, so we know we're going to have one label. Now let's figure out some colors that we can use. So I'm going to come over here to my color, and I actually want to get away from these swatches that are just here. Like I want to get some more thematic swatches. So I'm going to open up my Swatch Library, which is built directly into Illustrator. And you see that this is the default swatch for web. Let's go to some different color books. Let's look at some things. And we've got earth tone, we got foods, beverages, fruit, ice cream, vegetables, fruits and vegetables, things, some really cool things you can have built right in here just to find some different palettes instead of using the eyedropper around. So let's actually just start with maybe fruit, right? So now I've got my box here, and I've got some really interesting ones, and I can use this arrow key just to kind of go between them, because maybe fruit is not exactly what I want. Maybe I want some earth tones. I want it to be more earthy, but I want this to be very vibrant. So we're going to stick in fruit, and we're going to do blueberry. And so let's just try this blue. And that feels very blueberry to me. I don't know about you. That feels like a blueberry. So let's put this in here. Okay. And we want to have it, I'm not going to mask this just yet, but we want to have it to where it's kind of like a tone on tone kind of thing going on, right? So when you turn it white or turn it into lighter color, it looks very ghostly. You know, it doesn't really fit right. So you really want this to be a darker tone than the other tone. So let's maybe make this one like that, a little bit lighter. Okay, here we go. And you can see that the way that shading works is just a little bit better. It just feels a bit more natural because of the way contrast works with your eyes. So it's important to have that that contrast looking great. So with this daze, you know, we could easily just turn this white and it would probably be fine. You know, and now seeing this, I kind of want to give this a bar here, and maybe this can come across and go out to the edge. And so then we can add a accent for every brand palette. So maybe we use a, I want to say a green because of the leaf, but we'll see how this feels. So again, we're going to send this to back using Shift Command and the left bracket. And let's get this to feel a little bit thicker there. Move this up just slightly. And this isn't really, I don't know, it's kind of weird. So maybe I'll actually put this whole thing in the bar. There we go. So I keep the logo contained, keep them together, which is, I think, a little bit better than what I was just doing. So maybe we'll just make this all white for the sake of this. And then we want it to be a little bit more minimal. So we'll come here, do that. I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste this in place. I'm going to click this. I'm going to say make clipping mask. All right. Now there's other ways you can do this. You can actually go in and draw inside of this, but for the sake of speed, let's just do a little clipping mask there. That's the most simple way to get this stuff done. Okay. And we want a little bit of ingredients in here. Okay. So I'm going to send this to the back again, because I want to be able to type really quickly on this. So make this white because we need as much contrast as possible. And I don't want this to be all caps. So we're going to say, do a cool little slogan for this, or not really a slogan, but we want to say what's going to be included in this. So we're going to say real fruit, 100%. Let's see. Farm raised. I know that's not totally true, but we're just putting in some text just to test some layout. And then let's go ahead and say, you know, hand grown, whatever. We're going to say full of or let's say nutrients. No, that's a bit too much. I think just 3 things is fine. I like to work in 3s or odd numbers with these kind of things, just because I feel like it usually feels a bit better to the eye when things are not totally symmetrical. So we'll just do this. And then let's add in a few other accents. So we talked about having accents before. So we'll use our eyedropper, kind of bring this in and try to add in a few other accents throughout this piece, right? And, you know, we might want to make this even bigger. I wonder how it would look if we really, really extended it out. Okay. So let's do that. And I feel like that just kind of fills the space a little bit better. It allows things to kind of feel a bit more full, because this is going to be scaled down. So let's reflect this and then maybe reflect it again, but this way. There we go. Maybe we have it coming up like this. And this can be something that we continue to have within every design piece. So we'll cut and paste that into it so we can see a little bit more how this is going to flesh itself out. Okay, I'm liking the way that looks. Let's go ahead and put some more details down here in the bottom right. And we'll just put, let's say that we put we need a place for the barcode if we're thinking about this in a sense of a small business, right? And so they might have a place for the barcode. So if they do that, they can put that there. I personally don't want to do that. I'd rather have it on the back of this bag. But for the sake of, you know, showing, we would put that maybe down there. And let's go ahead and just put the last little bit here, and we'll say coffee for every days. Something really dumb and fun, you know, coffee for every days. And I misspelled coffee in there. So let's put that other F. Great. Cool. And actually, I want to use this a bit more script. So let's go over to maybe Beverly Drive. All right. And this is, again, should not be caps. So we'll do coffee for all days. There we go. And again, another chutzpah font. And let's make this a little bit bigger and then center it. So that way it will center up nicely. And then as we expand or make it larger, it stays centered. Okay, so we want to make sure that that doesn't get too close to our safe zone. And the green just isn't enough contrast. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. I'm really, really liking how this is coming together. Okay, so we're gonna just take this now and let's make a different iteration of this. All right, because we know we're gonna put this on our bag. And so what we can do is just scale this down appropriately, how we might want to see it. Let's group that together. And you can start to see how this is gonna work. Now, it's important when you're building out packaging to know where folds are and things like that. So you can already see that we're having a little bit of conflict because where the fold is happening on the bag, it's interlocking with our logo. So we need to bring our logo and our design down a little bit. We gotta adjust, and then let's build out this palette. So we'll do this. We'll add this green. Let's add in, what does this say this is? This is for an orange. Let's see if we get a pineapple in here, maybe. Pear, no, that's okay. Let's just do this one for a pineapple. That'll be fine. And then we got the green for the leaf. Let's just add in a little bit of is this a peach? Yeah, we'll add a little peach in there. Okay, cool. This is looking pretty, I like this palette. It's very, very tasty. Stargazing days, navel peering days, leaf pepping days, week-long. Oh, I like week-long days. That's nice, clever. Coffee for week-long days. Let's roll with that. I like that. Okay, so again, we're having a little bit of a conflict with this fold. So we want to build in some padding. Now this is going to be something that maybe we can put actually our slogan here up top, because what's going to happen is we want to make sure that that is not too conflicting. So I'm just going to put a little reference line here. And this is something that I do pretty often as just a quick reminder for myself when I'm working in design. Like, okay, I need to make sure that this is hitting at a certain fold point. And when you're telling a print shop where you want to fold things, you can actually put dotted lines. You have these pink lines, sky blue lines. They all kind of just help communicate where you want things to happen. So because we know that this fold is going to happen right here, that means I need to bring down our logo. And this, it needs to kind of be right here. Great. And that means this can actually adjust a little bit. And it can probably creep some up. Well, that's going to be above the fold too. So maybe we come with it right there, but then have a little bit of the duplicate up top just to help fill that space a little bit. We'll bring this coffee for week-long days here. Okay. And we actually, let's look and see how this would look with a white strip where the fold is. I wonder, that might be kind of interesting. Nah, it's bland. We won't do that. Just get rid of that thing, okay? And I do want to add a little bit of something here, so maybe we give it a white line just to emphasize this. It might be getting a bit too busy, but now that we know that's there, we can kind of get rid of that. Okay, so I'm liking that. And then let's put where this is from. Since Allison was coming to us from Phoenix, let's throw this as Phoenix. Let's say locally, or let's just say made in Phoenix. And this doesn't work as well, so we're just going to do this here, and let's give it an all caps, and then let's center it, center the text, and then center that, and let's give this a line. Instead of up top, we're actually going to give the line down at the bottom, giving a little bit of a what you might find in a footer in a website. You know, it's kind of like an endpoint. Okay, now I want this to be evenly spaced. So I'm going to come over to my align tool and just going to make sure that is evenly spaced. Let's get rid of this. And cool, I'm liking the way that is feeling. All right, let's go back over here. Okay, and let me get rid of that right now. I don't need you just yet, even though you are useful. And I'm liking the way that's feeling right there. Cool, so we know that fold is there. We've got the main days, and this is probably gonna be about right there. Cool, that's pretty nice. Okay, so we've got a few more minutes. Let's make one more really quickly. And since we already have our template, this should be very, very simple to do. Okay, so let's turn this one yellow. Although I do need my swatch panel to come back. Here we go. And let's throw in the pineapple. Delete that. Let's make the pineapples nice and chunky right there. That's fun. We probably need less of this one because we already have the pineapple here. So maybe we just do like that for this one. Cool. Very nice. Let's see. I need to make this one dark. So I'm actually just going to color this one myself. I'm going to make this just a little darker there. There we go. There we go. I'm liking that. I'm liking that. Okay, now normally you would want to have some good contrast, but I kind of like the white for now. So let's just copy and bring that over here. Now our whole thing, again, this is just scaled down. So let's just copy this height so that way I can make sure that this is all even. So we'll do that. And look at me, I just brought it over on top of something, make my life difficult. All right, so we'll group that. We'll make that height the same. And let's just bring that there. There we go. That's looking nice. And we got like maybe a couple more minutes. So let's just see if we can get one more done here. Okay. So we'll do this. We'll do green. Although the green is going to mess up our logo. So maybe we just do the peach. And then we'll bring this nice and large. Cut that. Come here. Let's make this a little darker. There we go. I like the way that's looking. Okay. And you can again see how this would look. Now we don't have a third one, but we could easily do this. I've got the layers locked right here. So we can come into our layer panel, get this, and drag one out. And then let's lock that back because it's got a lot going on. Group that in. And there we go. Let's edit this artboard to where we can extend it out some. Now, if we wanted to export this, we come and save a copy. And we would say PDF. And you can select the range. So if I want to just do the first one, I just do that. And then I'd save it. And then you can change your settings a bit. All right, so you can go to high quality PDF. If you don't want to have it be crazy amounts of data in your computer, you can come here and then go to marks and bleeds. You want to add the trim marks and use the bleed settings. Save that out. It'll save you space on your computer, but it will still be a vector if someone able to open it up. So it's actually pretty neat because even though it says preserve capabilities, you can still get in there even though it's unchecked. And also, I do got to say, I like lazy days, glory days. Those are all great. So, you know, we can totally come in here and add that as like the title of each of these if we wanted to, right? We can come in and say, if this wants to let me edit it. I guess it won't let me edit it for some reason. Oh, it's because I'm on that layer. Come in, and maybe we want to call this one Glory Days. And then we've got Lazy Days, right? And there you go. And that is how we do some cool packaging. Make sure to save the file. I'm really excited about the way this all kind of came together. This looks pretty great. Let me know if y'all have had a chance to, do your own. But this has been really fun doing all these daily Illustrator challenges. It's just been really cool to see like everybody interact and what we've all been able to come up with creatively. So there's a lot more content coming on Adobe Live, so make sure to stay tuned. And I'll actually be in studio later this week. So holler at me later this week and let's kick it. So until next time, I will see y'all on the next stream.